Mr. President, you had a great line weeks ago that you want to make sure that the cure is not worse than the pandemic itself. And if you hear stories about Shelley Luther down in Texas, who was locked up, thrown in prison or in jail and fined a lot of money, people came out of the woodworks to support her. Lots of money raised on her, what is it called when you, GoFundMe page.
GoFundMe.
Exactly, thank you. And then Sean Hannity last night interviewed her and said he's going to give a donation to her, and she was full of emotion there. And then you've got this sheriff out in California who's saying, I'm not going to arrest people or fine people if they open up their businesses, because he said, I don't want to criminalize people who are just trying to work. Here's Shelley Luther, if you missed it, on Hannity last night.
Okay.
I just woke up one day and I said, I have to open. My stylists are calling me. They're not making their mortgage. I was at right now, I still am not caught up. I'm 2 months behind on my mortgage. And my stylists were telling me that they wanted to, what do you think if I go underground and go to people's houses? And I just said, that's not a good idea, because we can't control the environment there. We don't know if it's been disinfected or anything like that. And I just decided I would open to create a safe place for the stylists and to make sure that I wasn't the reason they weren't making money.
Mr. President, what was your reaction when that judge threw her in jail for 7 days?
I thought it was terrible. I thought he was a terrible judge. The governor agreed with me, because the governor and the attorney general, they have a great attorney general, Paxson in Texas. But the governor was with me yesterday, Greg Abbott. He's a fantastic governor. He was incensed. He couldn't believe it. And she's an incredible representative for a large group of people that want to do the same thing. They want to get back to work. These people want to get back to work. We know everybody's done what they have done, and you can only do that so long. And that causes death also. If you look at all of the problems that people have with drugs and suicide, and they lose their jobs and anxiety and all of the things that are caused by that, that's a big problem too. People don't realize that. And I will tell you, you look at some cases, some people think they're doing it for politics. Here we go again. But they think they're doing it because it'll hurt me the longer it takes it'll hurt me in the election, the longer it takes to open up. And I can see some of that, because some of these people are being unrealistic. They're being ridiculous. I've looked at a couple of states that are being absolutely ridiculous, but ultimately the people are forcing it. I see what's going on, and Gavin Newsom's been very generous to me in his statements, and I appreciate it. But, I think they can move a little quicker in California, to be honest, and I think the people are forcing it. The people are going to force it. Now, not in all cases. In some cases, you have to keep it going longer. But we've learned things in the last 2 months. We've learned a lot about it. And we may have fires, and we're going to put the fires out. We may have, embers, but we also may have some fires, and some reasonably big ones, but we'll put them out. We've learned a lot about this scourge, this disease. And but we can't close our country for 2 years. I had one doctor says, well, we could keep it 2 or 3 years. That would be wonderful. You wouldn't have a country. Your country would break. And we're going to have a fantastic next year. We will have a record or almost record next year. We're going to have a transition in the third quarter, and it's happening already. You can see it. And there's spirit now. There's a lot of spirit, because we have over 30 states that are back or very strongly coming back, and that's going to be a lot higher soon. There's a transition that's taking place. So the third quarter is going to be a transition. Fourth quarter, I think, is going to be very good. And I think next year we're going to have one of the best years we've ever had. If you don't have somebody getting in and gumming up the works and doubling and tripling your taxes like Sleepy Joe wants to do. He has no idea what he's doing.